Cam. So glad you could join me again for another episode.
Up on City Hall Station, which is just blocks away from Booker's Barbecue Grill and Crab Shack.
A little hungover.
What's the deal?
Well, the whole Patron thing, we had to do the old suck, swallow, and spit all night long. So I'm recovering.
I beg your
I'm
pardon?
in recovery.
All right. Great intro. Did you have a dildo on your head?
I did.
That's a dildo on your head.
For money. I was rented out as a unicorn, and I couldn't find a horn, so the next best thing was at the sex shop.
When did they stop calling you dickhead?
No, they don't. That continues. That's why I got that for free. They said, well, you're the guy. Here you go.
Gerry, show.
Yes.
I'm excited. I'm so excited. I kind of half met you in Toronto, and I was competing against you actually there. I was at Q107. You were at the Mix, maybe? Was that it?
I was at Chum first, and then I went from Chum to the Mix. Yeah.
Right on. And we've traveled all across. We traveled all across the country, and here we are now. You're somewhere in Alberta.
Yeah, ended up on some great radio stations, and then the whole industry went for a shit. So we decided that it was time probably to take that big check and get out. And then both got put in I got it right here because this is how I get free food when I go to it's tough getting out of the wallet, but you and I both got one of those.
I'm looking at mine. Look at that. The Hall of Fame.
Yeah.
What's the record they put on the back of yours? Is there, when you look at the back of the thing, is there something on there that has a record? You see it?
Oh, this program material has been recorded only on the other side of this touch home video, so it's probably a porn.
You know what mine said?
What?
The band Fluke.
Oh, really? How it fits, eh?
I think Gary Slate was behind that somehow. He probably went Fluke.
Oh boy, I'll tell you. You know what? It's funny when I'll tell you when I first started doing the radio, like the type of radio that you and I were doing when we wrapped her up. Before I was doing the smooth stuff on a Mix 99.9, and before that on a top 40 station. But I had to go to Edmonton to learn, so I had to leave Calgary and go from Calgary to Edmonton, and you can imagine the hatred between those two cities. So this guy's coming in from Calgary. People automatically hate me. So I had to go out the first day that I was there. I found a truck and a dump truck guy, and he loaded it up with about 1,000 pounds of shit. And then we dumped it in front of the radio station. I had a hot water truck come and turn all the shit into a big puddle. And I invited guys to come down when I wore a white tuxedo to whip through the shit and spray me in the face and welcome me to Edmonton. So that's how I got people to like me. The only problem was I didn't know Edmonton that well, and I set it up a half a block away from the CNIB. So as these guys are flying through in their pickup trucks all covered in shit, there's blind people trying to cross the street. So we immediately hit the newspaper the first day.
Yeah, that happened to me in Halifax. Same kind of thing. Went on stage, brought Streetheart on during a Chum Presents. You know, Kenny Shields brought me up. I said, there's a new fucking radio station coming to town. You better be ready for it. I could see all the guys at Chum going, what's he doing up there? Yeah, and then they banned Streetheart music on Chum right across the country, which was kind of a bad thing for him. But and then we dumped and then we dumped a big rock in the entrance to the Chum radio station. It was a fucking 5-ton rock. And the owner was driving the payloader, front end loader, and we put it in there. We had, Halifax's greatest rock.
Well,
Here it is.
That's great fun radio, right? And that's when I came back to Calgary, I had to leave Edmonton and come back to Calgary as not only a trainer because I went to Edmonton, but I had to come back and start doing a completely different style of radio. So the Eagles were coming to town on April Fool's Day. So I thought, okay, I got to pull something off. Went to the PD and he went, that's a really bad idea, but let's do it. So I went and I found a guy working at a car dealership named Glenn. One guy in parts was named Don, and they happened to sell Jeep Eagles. So I said, you guys don't tell a soul, but what I want you to do is we're doing a fundraiser for the food bank. The Eagles are in town that night. And, of course, nobody played the Eagles forever, but when the Eagles are coming to town, you're the Eagle station, obviously, right? Everybody tries to like it. So I said, I went on the air the day before, and I said, I've been really lucky. I just talked to Glenn, I talked to Don, and tomorrow, for all you fans out there, I've got the Eagles performing in the parking lot. So bring all your shit. Come on up. I said, Spolumbos is going to do a barbecue. We're going to raise some money for the food bank. Molson's looking after the beer, and we'll have a little party in the parking lot. So I thought maybe 100 people would show up. They just kept coming up Broadcast Hill. There had to be 500 people there. We're cooking sausages. Everybody's waiting for the Eagles to show up. So I said the entourage is on the way, and people are all getting excited. They're all lining the roadway to the radio station. My boss is having a shit because he goes like, "Oh no, that we didn't think it was going to get this bad. We thought it'd be a funny little joke." The Eagles start coming in. The Jeep Eagles honking the horns, doing circles around each other with the lights flashing. And I said, "Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome the Eagles." And the look on their faces of the devastation of all the shit they're carrying out. And people were, I can't fucking believe you did that, but we did. And then the Eagles play that night. I'm in a box. Don Henley stops the show. He says, "You know what? We have to look after something here. There's some people that go a little too far." And this guy, Gerry Forbes, I'm going, say it again, say it again, say it again, because I just got back. He went too far, and he used the Eagles' trademark name and lied to all you people, and the Eagles won't put up with that, so we're going to sue him. So half the Saddle Dome's cheering, half the Saddle Dome's booing, because half the people thought it was pretty hilarious. And so I go to work the next day, and he goes, "Okay, don't mention Don Henley. Don't mention the Eagles." And I'd done a little research on him because I knew I was going to be facing a little bit of trouble in the morning. And there was a book that was written about Don Henley where he used to get off underneath coffee tables when girls had a shit. So, of course,
Yeah, I remember that.
I went right on the air, and I used that, and my boss completely lost his shit and said, "You know, I'm gonna fire you." And I said, "Hang on." I said, "Wait till the papers come out." Papers came out and said Eagles take $1.8 million in bold. The story about the big thing that happened in the parking lot, how much we raised for the food bank. Gerry Forbes raised $5,000 for the food bank, and I was an instant hero. It worked out great. I called Gary Slade, who happened to be my boss at the time, and he went, "That was awesome." And told the program director, "You know what? Don't give him any shit. That what a great introduction to have him come back to the city." And that's one of the things I ever did, but it sure worked out.
That's fantastic.
Well, my favorite Jake story, you got to tell this one.
Which one?
Lake Winnipeg, and really a 560 horsepower boat, and a huge crowd with all the TV stations there.
Well, it was on the Red River. Actually, it wasn't Lake Winnipeg, but it was Red River, and we were standing there, and we said, "You know, we got to go and promote this aquatic ski championship, water ski championship was coming to town." So I said, "Fuck yeah, I'll do it." And I got a hold of my buddy Wayne Yaskew, and I said, "Here's what we're going to do." We had a 396 fully blown jet boat, and we had mannequin arms stuffed in a white coat with mop ends and blood capsules on the top. So he came up holding these arms up because he was holding them up, and they were riveted on the ski bar. And ladies and gentlemen, Brother Jake Edwards is now fired up the 92 City FM sweet sounding jet boat. Jake, are you ready? Wayne, are you ready? And there was 92 feet of slack, hits the throttle, it goes off, the arms pop out of the fucking sleeves. There's blood capsule, blood everywhere. He's doing the worm, and I'm swear to God, 2 or 3 people passed out. And one arm kept fucking hitting on the water and flies up into the air. It was just unbelievable.
And he's flying around the lake.
That's unbelievable. But the other thing, just quickly, since we're in Winnipeg, I was put up at the great, Red River exhibition, and I was put in a Pontiac Trans Am. And I used to do this commercial for Park Pontiac. Any Winnipeg fans out there are there. I used to say, "Park Pontiac, wicked." I did this whole wicked campaign. So they had me in a brand new Trans Am. I was 92 feet up in the air for 7 fucking days. 7 days in the Trans Am. So I would shit and piss in a bucket, throw the shit down in a little pulley system, put it down, and another bucket would come up. The guy from the keg, Michael J. from Big White, he would send up lobster and steak. So I'd be eating up in this car. So up comes the shit, or down goes the shit in the piss. I'm in this car for 7 days. On day number 7, Joe Cocker is playing at the Red River X. I've got the front row seat. I haven't seen Terra Firma. I'm pissing and shitting into a bucket. Food's coming up. I'm living in this thing. It's one of these things that you do. So Joe Cocker comes out. He has no idea where he is. And he's got incontinence. Like, you have no idea. Like, the guy comes out, he goes, and they have him, what'd you do? And the music started out. He goes, "Good evening, Manila." and the guitar player said, "You're in Manitoba. Manitoba." And he shits his pants because he had a bad problem. He goes, "Would you
do the
What the fuck?
I did the same stupid shit in Calgary. The football team was going bankrupt, so they had a thing called SOS Save Our Stampeders. And I said, you know what I'll do? I'll climb up to the top of the tower at McMahon Stadium, and it's super high tower up in there, and set a tent up there. Did the same sort of thing you did. Had the food set up from pizza places. Had strippers come up. That's something.
Oh, I didn't have strippers in the car.
We had strippers come up. Molson sponsored the thing, but in the middle of the night, what starts happening? I'm in the tallest area of the tower where lightning and thunder starting to hit. So I could have been fried. So I had to get the fuck down really quick and sleep in the washroom. But because thunder lightning hit the tower right next to me, it would have blown me right off of that. We would have stayed the stance but killed Gerry. But it worked good. It worked good.
We did this thing, and this is you were talking about the stupidest thing you've ever done in your fucking life, right? So we were part of a promotion at Rock 101, and we decided, I don't know where this came from, but we decided to do Mary Had a Little Lamb, and we were giving away concert tickets, and you had to come up with the best outfit. So we basically would pick somebody to put the Mary Had a Little Lamb suit on. And there was a large woman that came in. We had her all dressed up. We were in the middle of a fucking, big intersection. And it was Paul McCartney tickets. And it was Ram. I think we thought would be really cute and get a Ram fucking, one of these crazy sheep. But a Ram, we didn't know what the fuck we were getting. So Mike Cohen is a promotion director. So he goes out to Abbotsford to get this fucking animal. And the guy came out, said he could have flossed with a rope. I mean, the guy, he said, so this is all I got. He's a little ornery, and put him in the van, and he's heading out to the site where we're giving away lamb and fucking meat. And what do they make those Slovakia? What is that lamb thing? Yeah. So we're serving that. People are stopping, and we're giving out tickets. So on the way over, this Ram goes absolutely batshit crazy, and he's got some kind of little fencing around, but the thing is like pissed off. It's got an erection, and it's fucking going at Mike as he's driving in traffic and fucking headbutting him in the head, up in the console, basically on top of him. And he's going, fuck, get out of here. And he's trying to kick him off. So he had to wrestle this thing to the ground and get this thing out and put in this little white picket fence thing we had around to give away these tickets. Anyway, it went really bad.
No kids were killed.
No kids were killed. But we could have taken out a bunch of cars. I mean, Mike was driving all over the road. This fucking or whatever it was went absolutely nuts.
And did you hear from the PETA people in Vancouver on that one?
Oh, yeah, you do.
Oh,
yeah. You do, of course. But
this
guy was...
Go ahead.
No, go ahead.
We had one we thought would be really funny, and it was another April Fool's Day. And we had no idea what would happen, but we said, you know what, we're going to do it anyway. So we didn't ask the program director about this, but learning from the last time that, no, I'm just going to do it, and then I'm going to face the consequences and hope it works. So we tattooed a baby, and I think we've got the actual audio. What the premise was, the baby was conceived during a Metallica concert. So we were putting a cute little pentagram on his little ass. And we had the tattoo car parked out front. We had like a little party going on out front. And here's some of the audio from it. I think we have it.
technology. Embrace it.
Yes.
Yeah, gentlemen, unfortunately, we do not have that audio at the moment, but we are going to get it for you immediately, so my apologies.
Okay.
No problem.
Okay, so anyway, as it continued, it was unbelievable because there was motorcycle gangs calling, going, Forbes, I just got to tell you, I've listened to all the shit you've done, but this is going too far. You cannot tattoo a baby. Are you crazy? So that was the first. A motorcycle guy showed up. The next people who showed up were the Alberta Health Services. They showed up to make sure they took the kid and had the parents thrown in jail. And then after that, the police showed up. And all of them actually believed that we were tattooing a kid. And the shit that hit the fan in the newspaper, the television, everything else, probably the best April Fool's Day we'd ever pulled out. There's people who knew me that just thought I'd lost my mind and we would do anything for ratings. And that was sort of the ploy, making people believe that. But if you wanted to get talk going in the city, that one did it. And people, they never listened, right? They actually thought we tattooed a baby to this day. And they said, did you hear what they did? They tattooed a baby.
Yeah, gentlemen, I've got the audio. I've got the audio here for you.
All right,
Just your up.
here we go.
Just your up. I got the audio here for you. Here we go, boys.
Everything that rocks, CJ92, happy Friday to you. The moment has arrived, and this has become one of our biggest things. We just started it. We're doing free Tattoo Fridays. And Red Dog, you found out some great stuff about our tattoo artist.
Well, I was out in the bar last week.
Right.
Rob Sweet from Tribal
Right.
Expressions, and I was out in the bar doing what I do. And people came up to me and said, that guy is one of the best tattoo artists in the city. He's only been here about a year, but you have made quite an impression so far, Rob.
It's good to hear.
Now, where's your shop?
It's corner of 16th Avenue and 10th Street.
Right, okay. And you guys you and your partner over there do some great work.
Thanks a lot, man.
And your shop is called?
Tiki Town.
Yeah, right next to Tribal Expression. Can't miss it. Used to have a liquor store on the end. I think they're putting another one back in now, which is
now
great.
open today.
Oh,
we got a banner.
Worked out just great. Absolutely fab. I noticed on the way, I took the
Just
liquor
don't
store
go in there
out.
before you come in for your
That's
tattoo.
right. Yeah, don't go into that hammer to get your tattoo. And joining us in the studio today is Julie and Troy. Welcome, Julie.
Hello.
When we spoke to you yesterday, you told us that you wanted to get a tattoo for you and your son, but you didn't mention how old your son was. We probably should have asked. How old is your son?
My son is 6 months old.
Wow.
6 months old.
Yeah.
When we walked in here, we're all like, are you kidding?
Have you talked to a doctor that this is okay?
Yeah, we cleared it with his physician, and his dad's at work, but he gave me my blessing. We're good to go.
Now, the coolest story you
Stoked.
mentioned to us yesterday. What is the story about Metallica and why you and the baby now?
Right. Well, I'm a huge fan. And about 3 years ago, Reaper and CJ got me backstage to meet Lars, which
Right.
was like a life dream realized. It was perfect. And backstage, I got Lars's autograph tattooed on me.
Wow.
Yeah.
I remember this.
It was
I remember
awesome.
this. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
So awesome. So I've had that, and I've really wanted to get the Metallica star. So I want to get one for me and the baby that match.
So you'll have Lars's autograph, and then above that the star,
Right.
and then your little guy.
Yeah.
Little guy. His name's Troy, right?
Yes, Troy.
Troy's going to get the other one.
How do you know that Troy's a Metallica fan?
Since I knew, before I knew, Metallica's always playing at the house. Like since the womb, he's heard Metallica.
Why don't you wait till he's older? Like, he's 6 months old. Why don't you wait till
Because he's
5
already
or
like a
6?
super fan. Like he bobs
Yeah.
his head in the car when we're listening to Metallica. He's full on ready.
Right.
He's
All right.
a
It
fan
is
for
Free
sure.
Tattoo Friday.
I want to
Free.
play devil's advocate here. I have a question for the tattoo artist.
Yeah.
Is this legal?
Yeah, as long as the waiver is signed,
Yeah.
it's very uncommon practice, but it's been done before. And
Really?
I don't think there's really a law in Alberta. So if the mother signs the waiver form, we're good to go.
You know what? I mean, think about it. They circumcise babies. It's a lot meaner than a tattoo needle. It's not a big deal.
Well, I just, a tattoo, something you
They
might
pierce
regret
baby
later in
girls'
life,
ears.
and-
Same thing. They puncture the skin. So this isn't a big deal. So you all said get going?
So excited.
What are we putting on, baby Troy?
The star as well on his little bum.
Now, what do you have to do before we put the actual tattoo on? Do we clean the area with alcohol?
Yeah,
or?
just scrub down with a lot of alcohol, and that's it. Then
So it's all nice and clean, and baby's
it's not
ready
like
to
it used
go.
to be
You're
in
ready
the
to
old
go.
days. It's really, really sterile environment nowadays.
Awesome.
I can't believe it.
All right.
All right.
Let's get going.
So, all right. Hold him still.
Okay.
Oh, he's not very happy about this.
Oh, it's okay, Troy.
Oh, won't
Julie,
take long.
are you nervous about this at all? This is kind of your
He'll
idea.
be fine.
Yeah.
He's a tough guy.
Yeah. Oh, boy.
How old is he again?
6 months old.
All right, cool. We'll get back to this in a minute because I don't think we want to listen to this whole baby crying stuff. Back in a minute.
Sweet.
He's a
Jesus.
tough boy. He's a tough boy.
Can I pop in?
Yeah.
I pop in? I'm 19 years old listening to that in my car at the University of Calgary going, this is no word of a lie, in real time going, that guy's fucked.
And my boss is going,
God.
you gotta stop. Stop it now. I go, no, we're rolling with it. We went
Wow.
right on through with it. And a shitstorm hit, and it was great. And then people finally realized, come on, it's April Fool's. Do you think we'd really tattoo a kid and have it screaming? They go, yeah, we do. But anyway, that was a good one. That was one of the dopest things we did, but one of the best things.
That is fantastic. You know, my birthday is April Fool's Day.
Is it
Did you
no
know
shit?
that?
Really?
Yep. 1953, April Fool's Day. 4:20 in the morning.
There you
Not
go.
kidding. Not kidding. You know, April Fool's, when I think about the thing we did in Winnipeg when Tom and Larry were on, I was the program director then, and they came up with this great idea that one of their guys that used to come on, Buck Manson was his name, and he'd come on, hey, how you guys doing? It's Buck Manson.
Buck Manson.
So Buck Manson here, and they'd say, get rid of this fucking guy. So they'd get rid of him, and all of a sudden Buck Manson calls up and he says, hey Larry, you want him to go back out to the back door there and see if your bike's there. So he goes back, the bike's gone, it's stolen. Larry is just having a shit fit. I'm the program director. I'm sitting, this sounded like a pretty good bit. It's going to be pretty good. I said, yeah, okay, what are we going to do next? He said, well, Larry has no idea this is happening, but Tom is now taking him to school on how to fool somebody. So he basically had Buck Manson bring pieces of the bike back, and it would, Larry, go back out there and find some pieces of the bike back. And so he'd go back, and there was a fucking chain. Then he had a handlebar, and when you twisted the grip, there would be a laughter. And Larry's freaking out because there's Buck Manson, who they've never met. It's just a character they've had on who's just a rough, scruffing biker type guy. So as time went on, they had a Red River community student come in who was interested in radio. So he came in, he sat down. Tom is there, Larry's there. Tom's the guy in the show. I'm peering through the window because the glass program director's office is right there. I'm going, this is fantastic. This is going to be really great. So all of a sudden, the guy from Red River goes, hi, Larry, it's Buck Manson. Takes the handcuffs him to the chair. Now he's locked in, and he's going, Buck, what are you doing? He said, Larry, I've never liked you. So they called, now the cops have surrounded.
Oh, terrific.
KISS 97. It's like now it's unbelievable. Now they've got two cops in my office, real cops, that are now they walked in plain clothes. Now they've got the officers' outfits on. They've got blanks in their guns, blanks in the guns. So they go in and you could hear it from the end. All right, Buck, you better come out. You better come out right now, Buck. And he's going, and Larry's just freaking out. Jesus Christ, I'm going to die. Something's happening. What am I going to do? Buck, come on out here. I'm not leaving. So all of a sudden, two blanks go off.
Oh, Jesus.
Buck hits, the blood capsule hits the top of the ceiling, and it stayed there for like 10 years before they took it off the gypsum tile up the top. And all of a sudden, I just came in. I said, look, we got to call this off. This has gone way too far. And Tom said, I'm sorry, Larry. This is unbelievable. And Larry is just beside himself. He can't even think. And he said, Larry, is there anything I can do for you right now? He said, would you buy me a DVD player for Christmas? That's what he said. That's a true story. And he was never the same.
That's dedication to a joke, eh?
Holy shit.
That's dedication to a joke.
April Fool!
No, yeah, fantastic. The Dick that I worked with when I first came to CJ, they had two guys going for the job. I was coming down from Edmonton. I wanted to get out of Edmonton, get back to Calgary. And they brought another guy out from a real great guy. Dick DeLuca was his name. It was his radio name. I can't remember his real name. It was Dick. And on April Fool's Day, he was pissed off at me because I got the job. And he got put on the AM station, two Dicks on the mix. and Gary Russell came up with that. And
God bless Gerry Russell.
he was a great guy. He was my GM at the time.
Fantastic. Yeah.
So
fantastic.
I had an old shitbox Lincoln Continental. Was ones with all the push button, the one that was completely square. He went outside when I was on the air, and he had a tow truck come in, lift the car up, steal all the tires off it, and then fucked off and hit the tires all across the city. So I had to get in my car. He'd give me clues where to find the fucking tires for my car. So I said, okay, I got all the tires now. Where's the lug nuts? He took the lug nuts and he took them over to our competition, Kick 107, and left them with the receptionist in a plant. So I had to go into the competition to go pick up the lug nuts to put my fucking tires back on the car. So I said, what a fucking dick that guy was. He wasn't a dick. So I decided I had lots of friends in the Calgary Police Force that wouldn't mind pulling him over with an OXO cube stuffed in the back of his car and thinking it was hash, right? So I had the cops chase him on the way to work, pull him out just before he hit the parking lot.
You
at the radio
son of a bitch.
and
Oh,
gave
my
him,
God.
He scared the shit out of him. And
Oh,
then,
man.
I called up the Jehovah's Witnesses, and I said that I wanted to give my life to Jehovah, and that I had some thoughts about some bad things, and I'm locked in my apartment, and I need you guys to come over now and help me. And they went about 25 of them to his door, knocked on his door. He opens his door, and there's 25 Jehovah's Witnesses. And they said a friend of yours, Gerry, had called to make sure that you were okay. And so he had to deal with that. And it just kept escalating. But that's fun radio shit, right?
Yeah, and you're not going to hear any of that unless you're tuned in to the Gerry Forbes Brother Jake show. That's going to happen. And, this is our very first show. Let's be quite frank with everybody. We had a few bugs here and there just trying to get rid of all the ticks that we had. And I went to this party last night at Mike Reno's place.
Oh, yeah, it was a birthday party.
And I met Julia Garner.
Oh,
Ruth, from Ozark.
Yeah.
And I had her do a little. She's unbelievable.
Oh, yeah.
She's in here doing a movie. Look, I said, could you maybe, how she's always pissed off at Marty in Ozark. I hope this will work. I'm going to give it a shot anyway.
Okay, all right.
Okay, ready?
Yeah.
Fuck you, Jake. I quit.
That was the best character ever in Ozark.
Hang on, I'm going to try to get it. Can you hear this?
Now 39. I know we've already talked about this before, but I want one more.
Ruth.
From Ozark.
Ruth.
I'm Marty.
Okay. No, you're Jake.
I'm Jake. All right.
Okay, ready?
Yeah.
Fuck you, Jake. I quit.
She was fantastic in that.
Oh my God, she's in everything right now. Tell me,
it's coming out. What, 2 weeks, 2 to 3 weeks? I think the next Ozark's coming out.
I can't wait.
Who else is at the party?
Mike Reno, of course.
Yeah.
I don't know if do we have Mike Reno there? Do we have that? I sent it to you. Do you? Oh, I don't know if we have that.
We do.
Oh,
you're just gonna have to give me a second. Hey guys, how you doing? Yeah,
how you doing? Hey, that's Dean Blundell. Oh my God! Look at
I'm a fucking great op, you guys. I've always wanted to op for you guys. If I could op for anybody, it's you guys.
Okay, let's run that fucking clip right now. Let's go. Be the great op. Let's go.
I'm getting it. Yeah, no, I'm not that good of an op.
I got to ask you questions. You always hear stories about Mike Reno, how much money they made when they were, what would that be, early 80s?
Yeah, 80s.
Turn Me Loose, shit like that. They're working for the weekend. And of course, they're one of the first Canadian bands to really make it big in the States. You would think that he would be loaded, but then I hear, this is the shit that goes on. It's probably not true. He was painting houses. That's not
is such a bullshit story. I mean,
the
guy. Well, they sold 40 million albums.
I know. That's why I said I find it hard to believe that Mike Reno's maybe he's painting his own house.
No, he's you know what? He's one of the nicest guys. I don't know if you ever had a chance because, Calgary is where he lived for, a long time. But one of the nicest, sweetest guys, his wife, Kathy St. Germain from the St. Germain family. Ray St. Germain had that TV show way back in the day.
Yeah.
Just fantastic. And So last night, I just sat down for a quiet moment with him, and we were talking about, because it's COVID, right? And people are going to parties and stuff. So let's see if we got this. Mike Reno.
Jake, you handsome bastard.
You good-looking son of a bitch. Don't you ever die.
Stop it. You're just humoring me.
Okay, party tonight. What's going on here?
Kathy's birthday. She doesn't want me to mention which birthday it is, but we've got all the people from the neighborhood here together tonight, including yourself and your beautiful wife, Lori, to celebrate this great time. And it's the first time we've had a party in 2 years, so we're really kicking some ass and having fun.
It's interesting, too. There are unvaccinated people here. Did you know that?
Well, I've heard there's a couple. Jude Law apparently is here tonight. He's unvaccinated. The English people, you can't really trust them. And I mean that in the nicest way possible. But you just can't turn your back on these people. So we may vaccinate them tonight around the 11th hour.
You have the home vaccination kit. What's that? What happens there?
All they got to do is bend over for a cocktail and boom, they've had it. Double vaxxes. Boom, done.
Good guy, eh?
He's awesome guy, and we had a good time. Jude Law, in fact, was running around, and my wife, his eyes are just beautiful. You looked into Jude's eyes? No, not really.
I'm thinking that's the beauty of being in Vancouver, though, because you have all the people coming through doing movies there.
Yeah,
so you probably have, you probably have quite the Rolodex, if that's such a thing, where you can hook up with people that have been doing shows there.
Well, Jeff Bridges, the dude,
right,
came into town, and that was probably one of the best experiences I've ever had in my life. We had a 58 Sea Ray, beautiful boat. Had 2 chefs on board. They had the White Russians, if you remember the Big Lebowski. They were serving up White Russians, and we were listening to Crazy Heart, the whole soundtrack. And I remember listening to the music. It was going all through I said, what is that music? He said, that's me. I'm singing for this new movie I'm doing, Crazy Heart, which she won a goddamn Oscar for. So we're partying it up, and we, up and down the, through the underneath the bridge, all the way down to Indian Arm. Came back, and he said, and we were pretty blotto. I mean, there was some of this going on. I mean, the dude is, so he says, I'm not ready to shop right now. And his stuntman was there, who looks exactly like him. So, you're getting high and you're looking around, and there's
what the fuck's going on here?
What the fuck is going on? So my place was down in Cole Harbor. So we walked over there, and I had some lovely black hash. And we sat down, and we were smoking black hash, and I had a couple of guitars and just started playing blues all night. And my wife had been out with one of her girlfriends. She came home at 1. Jeff Bridges left at 1:45. I said, you're not going to fucking believe what happened.
Yeah.
Jeff Bridges was at the dude was
yeah,
here.
Sure he was. Do you have any pictures?
Sure, good. And I do have lots of pictures. And next week, I'm going to bring the pictures in. But what a solid individual. He was one of these movie stars that you don't know what's going to happen, and he kind of stays out of trouble all the time. He's not, he's never in the news until now.
It's funny. I found the bigger the star, the nicer the guy. The smaller the star, usually a dickhead. But who's the one of the nicest guys you've met that you didn't expect to be nice as far as movie stars or celebrities?
Well, I got to say, the dude is right up there. Right. Clint Eastwood. I mean,
solid guy.
Solid.
Did you go golfing with him?
I did go golfing with him and my buddy Stinky. Yeah, we were down there, Carl Bauer. And we were down, we played Tahama, his golf course. So we're coming across going to number 10. And here comes Clint Eastwood in his golf cart. Not on a horse. He's on a fucking Yamaha. He comes over and he looks at me and he goes, you must be Jake. I said, yes, Clint. I'm Jake, and this is my buddy Stinky. He turns around, looks right at me, and goes, hello, Stinky.
That's when you want to have your phone out, eh?
Oh, my God. Nobody went back. We were watching the New England Patriots play, and there's, eating burgers. And hello, Stinky. And of course, he said, I just got myself a new G7. I said, G7? That's a Pontiac. He said, no, it's a fucking jet, Jake. Jet. Just like
you can come, but Stinky can't. You know what? I had a couple guys when guys you'd have stars coming in, And a couple guys, I thought, okay, this is going to be fucking a disaster because they're going to be just absolute pricks. Because I'd seen what Tom Green had done to people on everything where he just popped in. And I thought, okay, I got to be ready for him, right? So I prepped all my shit. I had everything all set to go. He came in, and that was one of the nicest guys I've ever met. He stayed for 2.5 hours, did the show with us. We talked about Tom Green stories and how he got with Monica Lewinsky and took her home and threw her in bed with his parents, and how he used to dump all the shit out of airplanes of his room.
Oh man,
the guy was great at the top of his game. He was unbelievable, but no ego, super nice guy, and was just an amazing guy to meet. Loved him. Another guy I thought would be tough because he got arrested here a couple times by the Calgary police and by the RCMP for being nude on stage and doing a bunch of other shit. And that was Steve-O. And there was another down-to-earth good guy that you could have
Which is amazing. When you look at this guy, you think he'd be a complete dick.
He just blew his eardrum out. And the new one he's got coming out, they shot him in the head with something, blew his eardrum out. And he said, yeah, my eardrum's gone. I can't hear my crazy voice anyway, right? But so his eardrum got blown out. He almost cut his hand off. He went into the ocean with sharks. And the shark actually got in the cage, took a big chomp out of his hand. And we just like the stories you could get out of that guy from filming the first couple Jackasses were unbelievable. Stayed around, signed everybody's autograph, and was just nice as pie. Big surprise.
When you had your show going, I did this a lot. I'd always look for outside talent. You know, you'd basically go to a bar, you'd find somebody, and I'd listen to your show. You find these guys. So I was looking for my stunt runt, you know, the Danger Boy. We're going to call him Danger Boy. It's been used before, but I thought Danger Boy and West Coast never been done before. I was doing the morning show on the weekends. That was my first gig at Rock 101. So all of a sudden I get a phone call and he goes, yeah, it's Dave. I said, hi, Dave, what's up? He said, I'm your new Danger Boy. I said, what are you doing? He said, look out the building. So we're right downtown. I look out and we're right over the VAG, as we call it, the Vancouver Art Gallery. And they've got this big fountain that's sitting around. The big fountain. He's got a fucking white suit on. He's got a 3-piece suit. He said, watch this. So he's on the phone. He does the backflip into the full soda stream. But they had these copper pipes that had shards in them.
Oh,
and he
no.
cut the shit. He had, like, he was being pierced, like ear piercings everywhere. And he wrote Rock 101 in his own blood.
No.
As we looked down, I said, dude, you're Danger Boy. And we continued that relationship for years. He was doing Monday Night Football. That's what he did. Then I made the mistake of looking for Danger Girl. We went to the Black Bear in North Van. I said, well, I got to get somebody that, you know, this is what Danger Boy did. You're going to have to top that to be Danger Girl on the Bro Jake show here at Rock 101.
What did she do?
Well, we basically had this lady come in dressed in leather. She had nipple clips hanging out. Her breasts were showing. She had all these piercings all over her body. I went in. We were doing a Monday Night Football. I came back. She was hanging in the outside rafters on her nipples and her full chain. She was hooked up with her hands like this, hanging. I went, no. And turns out unfortunately, she was a junkie, heroin addict. And I went, you know what?
A lot of pain when she had the clamps on her nipples hanging from the roof. You know, we had a guy, Jake. It's amazing what people do for money. I think we're giving away 10 grand for that craziest stunt. Guy came in. He was paramedic and sat down and he goes, I said, what are you going to do? He goes, well, watch. He gets out a brandy glass. He gets out a syringe. He gets out some medical cord, some medical tubing. He stabs himself in the arm. He fills the cup half up with his own blood, pours a thing of vodka in, throws a couple of ice cubes, spins it up, and just guzzles it right. Drank his own blood. Drank his own blood. And he wasn't amazing.
Isn't it amazing what these people will do?
We had guys tattooing with an actual not tattooing, but with a branding iron during Stampede, branding CJ92 on their asses. So they'd bend over and they'd get the hot, and obviously they still got it on there. And then we had another guy change his name to, hey, would you blow me?
Yeah.
legally on his ID, on his driver's license, and everything else. And people were just to take not you're not going to win. You have a chance to win $10,000, and that's what people would do. Unbelievable.
Remember the old joke when this wife wanted to please her husband, and he was a big Bridget Bardot fan. Remember this joke?
Yes.
Go ahead. And it's kind of a classic joke, right? And she says, I'm gonna put Bridget Bardot in my ass. I'll have Bridget one B and another B on the other cheek. And she bent over that night, and he looked and said, "This is for you." And he said, "Who the fuck is Bob?"
I got one more. Here's what I want to do. I want to tell one more story, and this one is unbelievable to wrap up this thing. And then I think you're known best for, of course, it's probably the biggest thing that ever hit rock radio was the Champ, and we'll do a classic Champ coming up. But I got to tell you this story. And it wasn't you or I, but probably the most deranged guy in radio. I think probably the most talented guy, but absolutely crazy. I could tell 4 weeks of stories about this guy, Scruff Connors.
Love him.
Yeah, real name Jeff Newfield. But that guy, he was so dedicated to having fun, and he was so talented at what he did. They had to drive him to work in a limousine because he'd be cracked half the time, be smashed out of his head. So he showed me one day when he was going in to do his drug test, because he had to be drug tested once a month. He actually went out on the internet and found a thing called the Whizzinator. And he showed me his cock. It was you could fill it up with somebody else's urine, and then it attached to your own unit. And then when the doctor was there, you just actually pee squeezing the Whizzinator, had a button to make it pee. And that's commitment to stuff. But here's what he did with his real wiener. We were both working at CFTR, and we were the sort of lower on the rung, sort of shitty guys. Jim Brady was doing mornings, Mike Cooper was doing afternoons, and they were getting all the dough. They were getting everything. We were getting dick. So we couldn't even get into a premiere and a parade for the movie Grease. So we got kind of pissed off about that, and we had a very English promo manager. I won't say her name. I'll just give you her initials, BG. And Scruff just couldn't stand her, right? But he said, "You know what? I'm going to get that bitch for giving us nothing. So what are you doing later?" And I go, "Nothing." He goes, "Well, come up to the condo, and we're going to throw a little party for BG." So I get up to the party, and I see Scruffer up there. He's got all the booze out, and he's got everything laid out. The woman is between me and him. And he goes, "Hey, BG, you want to get pissed?" And she goes, "What the hell? Let's do it." As he's saying that, she's staring at me. He's got his wiener out, whizzing in her glass and pouring a little rye in, giving it a little stir-rooney. And I'm out on the balcony, and I'm just going, I can't believe what I'm watching. I can't believe what I'm watching. He goes, "Come on, BG, let's get pissed." And she's hammering these drinks back. And I see her sort of start to, and I go, "You're going to fucking kill her." I go, "You got to stop him." He goes, "Let's just have one more." And then we watched her try to get into the elevator and sort of fall down, and then he had a cat.
Oh my God!
But he was a guy you didn't want to piss off, literally.
No,
yes.
Literally. Yeah. No, I know him very well. He bought my house in Winnipeg.
Did he really?
He lived with my wife while I was doing mornings at Q107 because we changed jobs. They got rid of him, brought him to Winnipeg, and I went in. And he was there for 2 weeks, and my wife said, "Please, for the love of God, please get him out of the fucking house."
I don't care if you don't have a job. Come home.
Yeah, and I just want to leave you with this too, and I think this is kind of cool. We were talking about relationships. You've got a great relationship. I have a great relationship. And we were out here on the deck, and I had the hose, and I was hosing down the roses and the weed plants and everything, just having a good time. And I took the hose, and I aimed it at my son. He goes, "Don't, Dad, don't do it." And his daughter, or his wife, my daughter-in-law, I pointed it at Lori, and I said, "Hey, I'm going to squirt you." He goes, "Oh, fuck it, don't you fucking dare." And I went, where are the old times when we were dating, and I'd bring a hose out and spray some water, and you spray me, and we'd get down and start knocking boots down. I said, those days are fucking gone. You know, where is that? Where's the love? Like, I'm going to spray. She said, "I'll cut your fucking nuts off if you decide to spray me with the water." And I'm going, okay, we got to change that up. Where's the fun? I want the fun back.
Something you're not going to see on the Harlequin channel, that's for sure.
No. Shall we say goodbye with the Champ?
Yeah.
And
I mean, it's been one of my favorite bits. I talked to Jake when he was early into the champ. I remember when you first set it up with McLean and McLean, and
yes.
I met you guys down at the Nob Hill Hotel in Toronto. They were doing some stand up, and I'd seen it. And then you took it and you refined it, and you made it into the radio character that it was. And it's still, I believe, the biggest thing to hit Canadian radio. And congratulations to you.
Thank you very much. When we were in Halifax, and I hung around with these guys from Glace Bay, Cape Bretoners, and when I heard their version of the champ was this punch-drunk guy, but he was brutal. Like he was just pounding
Everything.
his wife. It was just really bad. So I came up with the double entendre. What if he heard it? It sounded like that. That was my add-on to that. So they really inspired me to go do it, and they're not here with us anymore. Gerry and Blair, they're gone, and their wives are gone too. I mean, it's like,
really
it's kind of a sad, yeah. And we
so
still
great albums. Remember Pubic Hair? I mean, that was theirs too.
I got pubic hair, man.
That's the one, yeah.
And then fuck ya, FCKYA. I really hate your fucking guts. I wanna kick you in the nuts. Fuck ya.
Great live. And then
Great.
you gave the champ, and the champ's been all over the place, almost aired on every rock radio station in Canada. And you've got some classic champs, so we should play one.
Let's play one. And do we come back after this or just go out with the champ?
Adios, and we'll be back next week.
Gerry?
See you, my friend.
Hey, everybody. It's me, the champ. I gotta talk about Boris again. I'm sorry I keep talking about this idiot. He's a Russian friend of mine, and, well, he invited me and Mrs. Champ to the screening of a classic Russian movie. It's 4 hours long. The first 3 hours were to be shown one night, the concluding hour, plus a discussion the next. So I made an excuse for myself. But Mrs. Champ is a real film buff, so she went with this guy Boris and his wife Natasha was there too. So she got home. I asked Mrs. Champ if it was as boring as I thought it was going to be. She said it was fantastic and could hardly wait to see the amazing conclusion. She didn't know how it would end, but was sure to be great. Though the next evening, Boris arrives at the door. He gives me a big hello and says, "Hey, Champsky, tell Mrs. Champsky I'm here to bring her to exciting climax." I said, "Pardon?" He said, "Tell Mrs. Champsky I'm here to bring her to exciting climax." I lose it. Snap! Head fake him with a newspaper. The Idiotsky goes for it again. A heater, a smoker, a solar plexus flurry. He's nose down into the obituary page. I said, "How's that, Pelsky? Is that tell Mrs. Champsky I'm here to bring her to an exciting climax enough for you? Ever since I've been the champ." It's me, the champ. So glad you could join me again for another episode.
Up on City Hall Station, which is just blocks away from Booker's Barbecue Grill and Crab Shack.
A little hungover.
What's the deal?
Well, the whole Patron thing, we had to do the old suck, swallow, and spit all night long. So I'm recovering.
I beg your pardon?
I'm in recovery.